If I could go back, I'd slap my younger self awake. Because back then, I thought I was doing fine. I had a job, a routine, a sense of comfort. But comfort is dangerous. It didn't feel like I was wasting time. I was just living. I wasted hours on my phone, convincing myself I was learning something useful. I stayed in a job I didn't love because I was figuring things out. I told myself I had time, and that's how years disappeared. Here's what nobody tells you. Wasting your 20s doesn't feel like a mistake until it's too late. It doesn't happen in big, dramatic ways. It happens in the small daily choices you make or don't make. Every time you choose comfort over challenge. Every time you say, I'll start tomorrow. Every time you let fear decide for you. That's how life slips away. Not in months, not in years, but in moments. And if you don't wake up now, you'll wake up one day realizing you never truly lived. Chapter 1. The Science of Regret. Psychologists have studied regret for decades, and they've found a pattern. People don't regret what they did. They regret what they didn't do. A study by Cornell University found that 84% of people's biggest regrets were about things they failed to act on. They didn't start that business. They didn't say yes to that opportunity. They didn't take that risk. Why? Because of fear and short-term thinking. Your brain is wired to avoid pain in the present, even if it means creating suffering in the future. That's why you avoid discomfort now, even when you know it's the right thing to do. The solution? Start thinking in decades. Ask yourself, in 5 years, will I regret not starting today? In 10 years, will I wish I had taken that risk? In 20 years, will I even remember the excuses I'm making now? Once I understood this, I changed everything. Chapter 2. The Mistakes That Steal Your Future. If you want to avoid wasting your 20s, you need to stop 3 major things. 1. Prioritizing entertainment over education. I used to watch hours of random content, thinking I was learning. But consuming isn't the same as growing. Your brain is designed to adapt to whatever you feed it. If you spend all your time scrolling, your attention span shrinks. If you binge empty entertainment, your mind gets weaker. But if you train it with books, challenges, and real experiences, you get smarter, sharper, and stronger. 2. Confusing busyness with progress. I worked hard, but at the wrong things. I focused on being busy instead of being productive. And guess what? Hard work in the wrong direction is just wasted energy. Instead of filling your time with meaningless tasks, focus on high-value actions, building skills that will pay off for life, making connections that will open doors, creating something that gives you freedom. Number 3. Letting fear dictate your life. I used to think I needed confidence to take action, but confidence doesn't come first. Action does. You don't feel ready. Nobody does. You're afraid to fail? Failure is data. You think you're not good enough? You become good by starting. Fear doesn't go away. You just stop letting it control you. Chapter 3. The Turning Point. This is where most people stop. They recognize the problem but never change. The difference between people who live with regret and people who create a life they're proud of comes down to one thing: action. Most people think about changing. Few actually do. Most wait for motivation. They wait for the perfect time. They wait for some external force to push them forward. But waiting is a trap. If I had kept waiting, I'd still be stuck. One day, I realized something. Nothing was going to change unless I changed. Nobody was coming to save me. That was my turning point. So how do you create yours? You stop waiting. You start building. You shift from thinking to doing. Chapter 4. The Anti-Regret Blueprint. If I could go back in time and force my younger self to follow just 3 rules, these would be it. Create before you consume. Every day, you have 2 choices: consume or create. Most people wake up and instantly consume social media, news, entertainment. But consuming doesn't move you forward. Creating does. Instead of watching, write. Instead of scrolling, learn. Instead of daydreaming, build. 2. Set deadlines for your dreams. Most people have vague goals. I'll start working out soon. I'll launch that business one day. I'll take that trip someday. Someday is not a date. A study from the American Psychological Association found that people who set deadlines are 91% more likely to follow through. So don't just say, I want to do this. Give yourself a real deadline. Number 3, do hard things daily. Everything you want, confidence, discipline, success, comes from doing things that are hard. Chapter 5, the 1-year transformation plan. If you're serious about making a change, here's your 1-year challenge. Month 1, cut out the biggest time waster in your life. Month 2 to 3, develop one high-value skill. Month 4 to 6, build something. Month 7 to 9, optimize your health. Month 10 to 12, expand your network. If you do this for a year, your life won't be the same. Chapter 6, the final wake-up call. Regret is real, and the worst kind is knowing you had time, but you wasted it. The version of you 5 years from now, they're watching. And right now, you have 2 choices. Keep waiting, keep making excuses. Take action today, because one day you won't have time left. And the only thing worse than failing is never trying at all.